Canadians, despite the Conservatives' fear tactics, are responding to my proposal to actually recognize that we need to control and regulate marijuana. Canada has the #1 rate of teen usage of marijuana of 29 different developed countries around the world, and that means that our current approach is failing to protect our children.
Well, Justin Trudeau brought it up months and months ago, the pot issue, and he continues. And he was in British Columbia, for instance, discussing that. Funny enough, Jodie Emery was at the same banquet or barbecue with him as well. So to discuss this whole issue, Lisa Kirbie joins us, political strategist, senior VP, Daisy Consulting Group. Lisa, great to see you again.
Thanks, Pat.
Okay, you and I have had this discussion about pot,
yes.
and I think in the past. What I think is interesting, and Mark Emery, of course, gets out of jail, comes back to Canada. Jodie Emery is looking to run. I mean, pot is going to be a bigger issue than I think any people realize in this coming election.
Yeah, I don't think it's because of Jodie Emery or her husband. I think in general terms, I think Canadians are ready to have a larger discussion about relaxing the marijuana laws in this country. There was an Ipsos Reid poll done earlier this year that says nearly 70% of Canadians feel that way. You know, not necessarily they're ready for legalization, but they don't think that the laws as they currently stand are appropriate.
But I think if you went out on the street and you asked people about pot, they'd say, let's see what happens in Washington and Colorado where it's been, you know, dealt with, decriminalized or legalized to a degree.
Sure, but I don't know why we can't start having that discussion within our own borders as well. I mean, certainly it's time, and Justin Trudeau has been discussing this for a while now. It was back in 2012 when he had first said that he was supportive of decriminalization of marijuana, and he's right. And we've now seen that discussion take more of a center stage as the Conservatives have been trying to demonize Justin and the Liberal Party for that position. But the problem is that most Canadians are supportive of it.
Where are the political parties in terms of the spectrum? Are the Conservatives vehemently against, or is their stance shifting a little bit given the polls that you're looking at? How about the NDP? Well,
the Conservatives would be smart to take another look at this, although they certainly seem to be digging in their heels. And when I say they're trying to demonize the Liberals, they are. And we saw this in the last set of federal by-elections when they sent out, you know, wholehearted attacks on the Liberal candidate on marijuana, and supposedly that Justin Trudeau is trying to put pot in the hands of our children, which is just a flat-out lie, and it's the worst kind of political spin. But the best part of that is not only is it not true, but Canadians aren't buying it, and they sent that Liberal candidate to Ottawa just last month.
Okay, let's talk about the Jodie Emery component of this, because Mark Emery is obviously a charged point. I mean, here's a guy who's been convicted down in the States and those kinds of things. And Jodie Emery's pretty charged on herself, and she's going to be running for office.
So she says.
She's interested.
Yes.
She's interested in running for office. Do you think the Liberals are interested in having her on board?
Well, one of the things, and you and I have talked about this open nomination process before.
Which hasn't been all that open, to be honest.
It's been a bumpy road, and I'm not necessarily in favor of an open nomination process because I do think that the leader of whichever party it is needs to have some control over who his or her candidates are. And in this one specifically, I don't want to talk about Mark Emery because I don't think that women should be judged on the basis of who their husbands are, and we saw this in the Christine Innes.
Except they kind of work as a couple, you know, they feed off each other.
Sure, but let's just talk about Jodie Emery in this discussion. Ms. Emery herself has run for the past two BC provincial elections under the Green Party banner, I believe, and she only took out a Liberal membership last month. Ultimately, she has yet, as far as I'm aware, to fill out her nomination process and papers. And as you know, the Liberal Party has a process. It's the green lighting of potential candidates, and it's a rigorous vetting process for anyone who's going to run. And they're going to look at her past political history. They're going to look at her statements. But I don't think, and I don't think any Canadian should be thinking that marijuana legalization is going to be the predominant issue in the next federal election. It's not going to be. It's not a top-of-mind issue for Canadians.
It was the first one Trudeau came out with, though, as far as a policy stand is concerned.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still a year away from an election. I don't think most Canadians care more about marijuana than they do about the economy or healthcare or jobs. But Jodie Emery, if she wants to be the Liberal candidate in Vancouver East, has to fill out her nomination papers. They have to go through the process that everyone everyone has to go through. And then she has to win the nomination, which of course is chosen by Liberal delegates in the riding of Vancouver
For $10
East.
you can become a delegate
Sure.
of thing in the nominations. You get 1,000 names, you're going to win.
Sure, I mean, depending upon who else is there, but I've been reading in some of these newspaper reports that it was the president and the vice president of the Riding Association who approached her. But let's understand, put the context of the Vancouver East riding into perspective here. This riding has only not been a New Democratic stronghold twice since its inception in 1933. The Liberal Riding Association within that area, I'm sure, would love to have a candidate who is viable so that they can increase their revenue and potentially send someone to Ottawa to carry the Liberal banner for Vancouver East. It's unlikely to happen, but a lot can happen between now and a year from now.
But you need star power, don't you?
Sure, I'm just not sure she's it.
I know, but I do have star power from British Columbia, oddly enough. I want you to watch a little video that I was able to track down.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I got to tell you, I was told this by a little birdie that you were in this video.
You're all dead to me.
You're
all dead to me.
You mentioned it last time. I said, we got to find that video. You're a star.
I think my husband-to-be, who may no longer be my husband-to-be, provided evidence. Yes, 1989, I think that was.
Was it a Coke ad or something? It looked like Janet Jackson.
It was
Pepsi then.
Janet Jackson's. It wasn't the commercial. It was her. It was the first long video that I think was put on MTV. It was for her album Rhythm Nation. And yes, I was on that video shoot.
Were you an actress or a dancer at the time?
Well, I wasn't an official dancer, but I was, as you just now showed the world, I was dancing in that video.
I think it's a feather in your cap. You're multi-talented. I'm glad to see it. I didn't ask you which one you were. I think you were the one on the left of the shot.
I'm not going to discuss it further.
Lisa Kirbie, always a good sport. And we're going to take a break for some hard news and get you updated on what's happening in the markets as well.